I'm pretty satisfied with the maps in this update, but before we get to that, let's take a look at the new monster drops that I drew for the monsters I created last time. I've added them all to the game. For the cookie monster, it will drop shears, googly eyes, and a baking pan crafting recipe. I feel like the first release should have a cookie recipe because it is a cookie clicker inspired world, so I'm gonna have to create the oven station in the town eventually. These shears are probably gonna be multi-purpose. Initially, I was gonna make a more specific cookie cutter item, but I think it'd be more imaginative and less cluttered if a lot of items have multiple uses. When I was creating the baking tray drop, I realized that I don't really like the format of the recipe icons, so I redrew it to instead have a monochrome item, and then you have a scroll that's on top of that to indicate that it's a recipe, rather than having the item be within the scroll, because realistically a lot of these items are bigger than the scroll, so it just looks kind of messy. I'm gonna go through and redraw all of the recipes in the next few days. As for the grandma, we have her dropping a ball of yarn, a used bingo card, and a chocolate chip cookie recipe. So I also drew the chocolate chip cookie meal that you will eventually be able to bake. For the cat, I drew a jingling bell, a cat's tongue, and a metal bowl recipe that has its corresponding metal bowls with various tiers. And for the milk carton, I've kept it fairly straightforward. It drops milk and whipping cream. I also took the time to draw the flaky oak tree drops, which if you remember is based on the Cadbury flake. So now we have our first logs and regular foliage leaves. I actually really like how the logs turned out. Last time we just had a rough milk carton map sketch, but I fleshed it out, so now we have the most new NPCs and a lot more interest. As I hinted to before, I abandoned the idea of having ice cream be the theme, but I still kept the ice cream NPC because I think it's pretty cool and on trend for a hot summer day. So we have this mint ice cream cone, which will function as the main quest giver, and potentially will also give you the ability to manufacture cones in the future. As we go down and across the map, I noticed that milk cartons kind of look like houses from the side, so I thought this was a cute way to incorporate multiple flavors. I've repurposed a lot of the small ingredients from cocktail stories, so you can see that imprinted on each building to indicate the flavor. We have blueberry, strawberry, banana, matcha, and coffee. I really like the recurring theme of the wafer throughout this map. And here we have this octopus with a straw hat. This is our fishing NPC who will introduce us to the fishing skill. I think it'd be fun to have sea creatures for all of the fishing related NPCs and give them a really blasé or disappointed look, because after all they are encouraging fishing their own species. As we go down, we can see the full fishing pier. This map is called Spilled Milk after the phrase, "There's no point crying over spilled milk." I've scattered debris throughout this beach, and we have milk washing in and out rather than water. I played Stardew Valley ages ago, and it was fun to visit the beach to see what random items you could potentially collect. And I also played Neopets, which let you collect a bunch of trash when you were fishing. I think Stardew Valley does similar, I don't remember exactly. I don't know whether I'll have the player catch debris from fishing because it might just flood their inventory, but perhaps it could make sense to add it if I can incorporate it into some other system like a World Beach Cleanup initiative. I can also see debris like shells, broken glass being used as a building material or a material for dishware or glassware, so that's a potential avenue that I could go down. I think I'll stick with the strategy of first having the purpose and then drawing the item rather than drawing them ahead of time. As I was drawing the fish, I got stuck on what kind of fish I wanted to draw. The main purpose of this fishing pool is to give you butter. So I've drawn this butterfish, which will be a key ingredient in a lot of recipes. And I've also ended up drawing a sewer fish and the shell. I'd like to have shells of various rarities which you can crack open to reveal different pearls. Perhaps it can give you fishing experience, or maybe it'll just be an ingredient. I'll have to think more about it. I'll probably have more fish that drop here, but I don't want to force myself to draw every potential fish now without having a purpose for it. So as I work on more stove and oven recipes, I'll also add more drops to various resources, including fishing. As part of this update, I also created part of the infrastructure for the fishing skill. I haven't animated it or drawn the fishing rod yet, so there's still a long way to go on fishing. Before we move on, you can see that we have a new fishing shop. I'm planning on letting you buy bait and other fishing materials at this shop. Moving on to our next new map, we have the cookie dough map. I've gone a bit beyond the plan for this update by actually implementing this map. I wondered a lot what to do for this map's background. I was going to do piles of flour, but we already have something like that for the sugar cube map, so I decided to do something a bit different. So I've drawn a wooden countertop with a kitchen towel over it. We still have some scattered flour in the background. In the foreground of the background, we have this huge mixing bowl. We have a whisk as the NPC. I'm not sure how I feel about the fact that you can't see the full kitchen table when you're on the platforms, so I might do some resizing, but we'll have to see. So those are the new additions to the game for this update. As for the next update, as you can see, we've been drawing a ton of maps, and the next update will mark the end of the monster maps. That will be a huge milestone. We'll have the maps for the gingerbread monster, and there's also a jammy dodger, which is essentially like a biscuit that has a jam center. There are still the boss maps left, but I think they won't be as crucial to the core gameplay. I'm going to say that for near the end when I've come up with the player's skills and know what is possible for me to develop. And now that we'll have all of these monster maps, I'm going to start creating the world map. I don't think I'll be able to get to the point of fully implementing it, but I'm going to at least try to make the interface for opening the map. So yeah, that's it for this update. Thanks for taking the time to watch. Don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to follow the game development, and I will see you in 2 weeks with the next update.